What's going on, everyone? Today, I'm diving into one of the most debated topics in the Marvel community, and that is Ryan Coogler gatekeeping the Black Panther character, and what does the future look like for T'Challa in the MCU? Ryan Coogler is the director and co-writer of Black Panther and Wakanda Forever, and some are saying that it's not exactly gatekeeping that he is doing as far as the character goes in the strict sense, but he has played a major role in shaping how Marvel Studios handles the character since Chadwick Boseman's passing in 2020. Here are the main factors. Marvel's decision after Boseman's death. Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios publicly stated that they would not recast T'Challa, quote, at that time, out of respect for Boseman. Ryan Coogler strongly supported this approach, saying he couldn't imagine another actor stepping into the role so soon. The creative direction says that Coogler chose to build Wakanda Forever around grief, legacy, and Wakanda itself, introducing Shuri as the new Black Panther instead of recasting T'Challa. This was both a personal and artistic decision. Many fans agree with Ryan Coogler valuing the respect shown to Boseman. Others feel that retiring T'Challa erases one of Marvel's most important black superheroes, and argues that Chadwick Boseman himself wouldn't have wanted the character's story to end with him. And that's where the recast T'Challa movement came from. Because Coogler has been very vocal about not recasting, some fans view him as gatekeeping the character, even though ultimately Marvel Studios, which includes Kevin Feige and the leadership over there at Disney, makes the final calls. Ryan Coogler's influence is huge, but he does not own the character of T'Challa. So in short, Ryan Coogler isn't gatekeeping in the literal sense, but his stance heavily shaped Marvel's current direction for T'Challa. The debate is more about timing and legacy rather than ownership, whether Marvel should let the character rest for now or recast sooner to preserve his cultural impact. And here are the arguments that people have laid out as far as recasting for T'Challa. The first one is legacy of the character and not just the actor. T'Challa has been around in Marvel Comics since 1966. He is the first black superhero in mainstream comics and represents something larger than one portrayal. Many fans argue that Chadwick Boseman embodied T'Challa, but he did not own him, and recasting allows the character to continue inspiring future generations. For many black audiences worldwide, T'Challa is a symbol of leadership, royalty, intelligence, and strength. Retiring him might unintentionally suggest that black heroes are replaceable, unlike characters such as Batman, Spider-Man, or Superman, who have all been recast multiple times. Chadwick Boseman often spoke about roles being bigger than the actor. He even played Jackie Robinson, James Brown, and Thurgood Marshall, all recast roles themselves. Some fans believe he would have wanted T'Challa's mantle to live on and not to be buried with him. And storytelling potential. Marvel is an ongoing universe. Removing T'Challa cuts off future storylines such as the Storm and T'Challa romance, which is one of the reasons why I was very looking forward to when I found out that Black Panther was going to be into the MCU, because that in the back of my mind was, oh, we're about to get that Storm and T'Challa wedding, because then that could be a shoehorn into the crossover with the X-Men. And then of course, you have Doom War, T'Challa as the King of Wakanda, and also more Avengers arcs. Now, those were the arguments that people made for recasting, but I also have to go over the arguments that some were giving for those who were not wanting him to be recast. The first one, and this was the one that flew off the handle, was the respect for Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick's performance was groundbreaking, and his passing was still fresh when Marvel made that decision. Many felt recasting so soon would be insensitive. Some believe that Chadwick brought a uniqueness to the T'Challa character that could not be replicated, and retiring the character for them represents that unique connection. Wakanda Forever highlighted Shuri, Nakia, Okoye, M'Baku, and others, showing that Black Panther's legacy could continue without only T'Challa, and that expanded the idea that Wakanda and Black excellence aren't tied to one man. Marvel may simply be delaying a recast for all we know. Once more time has passed, even though it's been 5 years, the character could be reintroduced in a way that feels less raw and more respectful. So the heart of the debate is this. You have the people who are pro recast T'Challa, seeing retiring T'Challa as diminishing his cultural importance, while you have the people who are against it, at least for now, are seeing it as honoring Chadwick Boseman and giving audiences space to grieve. Now that we've gone over all of that, I wanted to go over some options that could work in bringing T'Challa back into the MCU. The first one is a multiverse recasting or a soft introduction. After all, we're still kind of in that multiverse saga and we'll still be there until after Secret Wars is completed. And with Avengers Secret Wars and the multiverse saga, Marvel has the perfect excuse to introduce at least a variant of T'Challa. This way, Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa remains honored in the Earth 616, which is the main timeline, while another T'Challa from a different universe eventually takes on the Black Panther in the Prime continuity. For example, similar to how they did No Way Home and brought in 3 Spider-Men, but didn't erase Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. Another option could be a time jump or a legacy reboot. Marvel could set a future story where a new actor simply steps in as T'Challa without a big explanation. This acknowledges the mantle and character are too important to retire, and the film could open with a dedication to Boseman if they do so choose, making it clear that the recast is about continuing the character and not replacing his contribution. The other option could be a magical or a spiritual return, because in Wakandan lore, the ancestral plane plays a big role. Marvel could use it to introduce another version of T'Challa blessed by Bast, which is the Panther god. And this would keep the recast rooted in spirituality of Wakanda rather than just some random swap. Now, this next one is the one that they're probably going to go with the most, and I know a lot of people are against it, and that's to introduce an adult son or T'Challa Jr. or the Toussaint character that we got introduced to in the post-credit scene of Wakanda Forever. You know, Wakanda Forever revealed that Toussaint or T'Challa Jr. was T'Challa's son. Marvel could fast forward a multiverse, age him into adulthood, and allowing him to carry the name and the mantle without replacing Boseman's version directly. The downside to it, though, is that this bypasses so many iconic T'Challa storylines from the comics since it skips the main version. And the last one I have is just a straight out recast it, but with respect. Marvel could eventually just recast T'Challa in the main timeline because they've done it with Rhodey, because you know he was played by Terrence Howard, and then eventually Don Cheadle replaced him, and then even with Hulk because it was played originally by Edward Norton and then replaced with Mark Ruffalo. The key difference would be tone. This recast needs a thoughtful rollout, likely with a tribute to Chadwick and messaging about preserving T'Challa's cultural importance. The best approach, though, in the short term, keep Shuri, M'Baku, and Wakanda at the forefront. Around midterm, as far as like now, introduce a variant T'Challa to test the audience's reception. And in the long term, bring T'Challa back fully, most likely, post Secret Wars, either as a multiverse merge or a respectful recast so he can rejoin the Avengers and continue his central role in the Marvel storytelling. This way, Marvel avoids erasing Chadwick Boseman's impact while ensuring that T'Challa as a character lives on. So let's build a roadmap, so to speak, for how Marvel could reintroduce a recast T'Challa while keeping Chadwick Boseman's legacy intact. The first one is Wakanda's future without T'Challa, which is right now to maybe 2026. Wakanda Forever set up Shuri as the Panther and introduced Toussaint or T'Challa Jr. It also, between now and Secret Wars, Marvel continues exploring Wakanda. We already had the Ironheart series, you know, that was the introduction of Riri Williams through Wakanda Forever, and then she got her own show. Then they had Eyes of Wakanda, which was the animated series that came out about a month and a half after Ironheart, and they touched on it a little bit there. So they're kind of, I guess this is their way of keeping the lore alive, you know, to have people with, hey, remember there is a place called Wakanda, but also at the same time people are wondering, yeah, it's still a place there, it is Wakanda, but also at the same time, where is T'Challa and where's the Black Panther? But I think this is also a way to keep Chadwick's T'Challa memory alive while building the world of Wakanda itself. The next thing they can do is the multiverse brings another T'Challa in, which I kind of touched on briefly through Secret Wars. And because Secret Wars, based on what I've heard, T'Challa plays a huge part in that, so they need to figure that out by 2027, because that's when Secret Wars comes out. So I would say during Avengers Secret Wars, heroes from the alternate universes team up. Among them would be a variant of T'Challa. This variant could be slightly older, maybe a seasoned king and warrior played by a new actor. He fights along Shuri and others, proving to fans that the character still works with a new face. And at the end of Secret Wars, the multiverse collapses, likely because of an MCU event, merging the timelines, and the variant T'Challa stays in Earth 616 as the new permanent version. This would also mirror how Miles Morales entered the main comics after Secret Wars in 2015. Black Panther 3 post-Secret Wars. With T'Challa now back, Black Panther 3 could explore the Storm storyline, which I think a lot of us would want to see, at least myself. T'Challa meets Storm, that means a possible X-Men crossover, especially since they're talking about the next saga is supposed to be the mutant saga, and when you think of mutants, you think of the X-Men. And their romance or marriage could bring Wakanda into direct contact with the mutant kind. Doom War, Doctor Doom versus Wakanda, which is a natural bridge between Black Panther and the Fantastic Four, which ironically, he got introduced in the Fantastic Four comic before having his own run way back when. And a legacy conflict, Shuri and Baku, and maybe if you want to throw Tucson in there, have to reckon with the return of T'Challa, who is not exactly the one who they lost. And people are also wondering, how can Marvel honor Chadwick in the story? Like I said, the opening of Black Panther 3 could feature a memorial sequence if they want to go that route. I mean, I don't know if they would want to do that again, because they already did it with Wakanda Forever. But I mean, if it is what it is, at the end of the day, this is just my speculation. And if they want to, they could just close the film with a dedication, if that's what they do so choose. Why it works? The fans get both. Boseman's T'Challa is never erased, but the character continues on. The multiverse becomes the bridge, and it's a natural way to reintroduce him without pretending nothing happened. And it's long-term storytelling that allows T'Challa to lead Wakanda, have the romance with Storm, and face Doom, all major comic arcs that Marvel has yet to touch. If Marvel, in my opinion, followed this roadmap, T'Challa could return as a pillar of the MCU again by the late 2020s, while still respecting Chadwick's memory. But at the end of the day, it's on the MCU, Disney, Kevin Feige, Ryan Coogler. It's pretty much on them. That's just the roadmap that I have come up with that could possibly work. Not saying that it will work, but hey, it's just an idea that I decided to throw out there. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.